My name is Lauren Tuttle, and I am a part of the GIS 410 section. So coral bleaching is a trending topic around the globe as the threat of climate change increases dramatically. The Great Barrier Reef is a perfect example of coral reef changing in color over time. Warmer sea temperatures due to climate change stress corals because they are sensitive to change in temperature. So I'll be discussing suitable areas along the coast of Queensland, Australia for port development. Any occurring because of warmer sea temperatures and port development along the Australian coast has asked you to develop a map to display the areas suitable for development. This map must include areas of the Great Barrier Reef impacted by a 2 to 3 degree change in sea surface temperature, how much of the coastline is not within a certain distance of an already existing port and doesn't come into contact with the area of the reef impacted by this 2 to 3 degree change. Lastly, to display the length of the coastline available for development within Queensland, Australia. So the types of data I'll be using will be coming from Esri, Australia. Will include sea surface temperature from December 2009 to 2011 in raster format, Australian ports along the coast, that came in an Excel sheet, and I later had created a shapefile for them. Coastline data for Australia that I will later clip to just the boundary of Queensland, Australia shapefile, and the Great Barrier Reef features that I later created a separate layer that included just the reef features, so it excluded islands, sand, clay, and other attributes. So to answer my first analysis question, where along the Great Barrier Reef has there been a 2 to 3 degree change, I did the following procedure. So I have my ArcGIS online map available, but I'm probably going to be showing most of what I did in my ArcMap. So here I imported my features of the Great Barrier Reef. However, I'm going to turn them off because you won't be able to see the raster on top of it. So I imported both my 2009 and my 2011 December data. So here's 2009 and here's 2011. And I can zoom out, and the higher temperatures are red and yellows, and the lower temperatures are in the greens and blues and purples. So you can see a difference that obviously there has been a change in temperature between the 3 to 4 years. And so essentially after that, I performed a raster calculation where I subtracted my 2009 raster from my 2011 raster, basically 2011 minus 2009. And this produced a raster that showed me the difference in sea surface temperature. And this looks like that. And so in order to clip this raster to my Great Barrier Reef shapefile, I used the Extract by Mask tool. So I will have a new raster that just shows the difference in sea temperature along the Great Barrier Reef. And after doing that, I have this file right here. So here you can see the difference of temperatures along the Great Barrier Reef. Again, the reds and yellows are the higher temperatures, and the greens and blues are the lower temperatures. So obviously you can tell that a lot of the higher changes in temperatures occurred on the northern tip of Queensland, Australia. So since my attribute table my raster doesn't have any attributes in it, I had to use the copy raster tool. And once this was done, I could build an attribute table using the build raster attribute table. And once I had built this attribute table, I wanted to use a query, kind of like select by attributes, to be able to see the cells that had a temperature change of 2 to 3 degrees. And once I did that, I now have this guy right here. And I can open up my attribute table now and show you what I mean. So now that a value of 2 and 3 degree changes have a cell count of 829 and a count of 41. And here I can zoom in on these guys. So obviously I was right that a lot of this higher sea changes were on the upper tip of Queensland. Whereas the further down we go, there isn't much of a change in temperature or a higher change in temperature. So now I also have my Australian ports data that will be later used in my other analysis. So the port development wants to be a distance from already existing ports and a distance from affected areas of increased sea surface temperature. So just from my data that I have now, I can only guesstimate that the lower part of the coast of Queensland, so maybe around here or here, is where my port developer would want to build a new seaport. So that is all that I have today. Goodbye.